was able to corroborate some of the stories after hearing stories from some of the soldiers that were there. At first, he heard the team had killed a very tall man. The soldier didn't think much of that until he found out that the man was 3 times the size of a grown man. He was also told about the extra digit on the hands and feet of the giant. He also heard about the man's fiery red hair, which led him to believe that it was not your typical enemy in Afghanistan. When the soldier heard about what had happened in this cave, he was sure it had to be some kind of hoax. After hearing how it went down and hearing the same stories from various soldiers, he realized that it was not a hoax. He believed the story more when the soldiers went in for training before heading back out to the area where the beast was found. They were told to keep their weapons high, which meant 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. When they were told to point their weapons much higher than a man's head, they questioned the order. Why would you be told to put your gun higher than a man's head and then shoot? After the mission, recorded interviews took place between L.A. Marzulli and 2 soldiers who asked to remain nameless. Coast to Coast host George Noory also interviewed a pilot who saw and transported the giant. The pilot in question says that when he landed at a base in Afghanistan, he was told he would be heading to a remote area to pick up special cargo. He was told there would be absolutely no cameras allowed in the area. When he flew to the destination, he says he saw a dead guy who was extremely large. He says the man was laying on a pallet which was between 9 and 12 feet long. The man was in a fetal position on the pallet, and he filled the entire pallet. He estimated the man probably weighed about 1,100 pounds. The pilot also corroborated the other soldiers' statements. He mentioned that the giant had fair skin, red hair, and extra digits on its hands and feet. While the testimonies of the 3 soldiers and the consistency between the 2 are impressive, there is more widespread testimony. The soldiers who could speak the language often heard stories from the Afghani stories about cannibalistic giants that lived in caves. They heard about people finding bones in front of caves that suggested that humans were eaten by something living in the cave after an ambush. They also talked about the sacrifices offered to the giant. Initially, the soldiers believed these stories to be legends, but after hearing what happened to the patrol team in that cave, they now know that these stories are not legends, they are real. The soldiers heard about legends that after the natives dealt with losing so many of their own, they decided to fight against the giants. Soon the giants were crippled and forced from their homes. It was at that time it was believed the giant that was found was the last one. One of the U.S. Army witnesses was asked why he thought the information about the giant and the story of what had happened in the cave is being kept quiet. He says he believes that if a story points to the Bible being accurate,